All right, we're back, and this is Sam. This is video number 3 so far. So far, we have spun up a digital Ocean Droplet, and we were able to SSH in, and this is running. In this one, we're going to get VS Code hooked up to it, and it's actually not that difficult to do. Along the way, however, I will explain some things about SSH that I think will be helpful. It'll be kind of a learning experience probably for some of us. So let's go ahead and flip over to VS Code, and I'm already in my extensions. Go to extensions over here and search for Remote SSH, and this is the one you want, and install it. And I can't remember, I think it made me restart. I'm pretty sure it made me restart VS Code once I installed it. So you might have to restart VS Code once you install that. But then you'll see this extra icon here to the left and at the bottom, maybe at the bottom, I don't know. And we can add a new SSH target. Now remember, let's revisit this here. If I open up iTerm, a new session, I'm going to make this cover the screen so I don't get distracted. Remember, we can SSH in as root at, and I think I still, oops, I don't have that in my clipboard. Let's go grab that IP address again. It's right here. I'm going to copy that and go back to iTerm. And we can SSH in there. And that's how we connect. And this is exactly how VS Code wants to connect. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to exit out. And I'm going to clear. I'm going to click the up arrow a couple times so I can see the commands. I can click up and down to see previous commands that I've run. I'm going to copy this command to the clipboard because I know ahead of time that I'm going to need it. Let's go to VS Code and add an SSH target. Now this thing pops up here at the top, and it's asking me for the actual command that I would use. And I'm going to press enter to confirm. And now it's asking me something very interesting. Where do I want to store this? Well, the place that SSH configs usually gets stored is in your user folder, in that invisible SSH folder, in a file called config without any extension on it. And that's what I'm going to choose here. Great. So it's added that. And I have this option to open this config file here, and I'm going to open it so I can show you what's in here. Now, you might already have one that has a bunch of this already. And again, because I don't want this to be like a black box to you, let's go to Atom. Remember, Shift Command period to show and toggle the visibility of hidden files in this SSH folder. Now we have another file besides, actually we have a couple files. Known hosts is the one from when we connected via SSH and we say we trust that server. And then config is the file that we're editing right here. And this is like an alias. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to call this, remember my username is Adam locally, but this is Adam's lamp droplet, right? So I'm just going to call this Adam's lamp. And this is kind of nice because then we can SSH without having to remember these numbers. I can never remember more than 3 numbers in a row anyway. So the user is root. That's the IP address that we're going to, of the machine that we're trying to log into. And we've just named it something else for ourselves locally. So if I save this, notice that, well, if I refresh here, then I don't know how that knows that I have already logged into that folder before. Probably, honestly, because I have played around with exactly that particular name already as I was preparing for these screencasts. So that's probably why. But we could go to iTerm, and instead of saying SSH root at that, I can just say Adam's lamp droplet. And it's exactly like doing the same thing. So let's go ahead and exit out of there, and we'll just clear this screen and we'll head on over to VS Code. So you can click this plus sign over here. Now it opens up a new window. That might be a little disorienting, but it really actually kind of makes sense because VS Code runs within the context of its own user. And I'm going to show you this too, because I think it's quite interesting. In my local thing, like for VS Code locally, it put in this invisible.vscode with all of these extensions and things. Let's go look. I know this is a detour, but let's SSH into Adam's lamp again. And I'm logged in as root. I'm going to clear and I can say, who am I? Well, I'm root. And I can say pwd, I'm in the root folder. I can list. I can see now that it has created a VS Code server folder here for me. And that's what VS Code is running off of. That's probably why it wants to open up a brand new window, because it's running within the context of this right here, not your local machine. Now I'm going to close the welcome sign or the welcome screen and over here. Now what we can do is open a folder, and we'll go ahead and open one. And the place where our website lives, if you remember from previous video, is /var/www.html. And I'll choose that. I'm going to say OK. I'll really say OK. There we go. And you know what? There are some caching things. It saw some files that weren't there, but I think it's from a previous. I had something set up. I think VS Code is caching some stuff from a previous thing that I did. Anyway, we can see here now I have terminal open. You can close that if you want to. And this is the web page that we see serving this page here. So how about if we just delete the copyright there just to make sure that we're actually editing in the same context. And there's the copyright. Delete that, save it, and refresh. Boom. So here we are. We are editing files directly on a server, and it's a LAMP stack, and we don't have to worry about our local setup at all. Let's go ahead and just for fun, let's try one more thing. You know, we will eventually want to get some PHP and some MySQL rolling, but let's try adding a file here just for fun. I like to just call these things like info.php, and I'm going to make it a PHP file, and we'll say PHP info. That is the function you want to run. I'll save that, and now I should be able to hit that at /info.php. And there you go. You have your PHP info. It's running PHP 7.2, which is good enough, honestly, for Craft. I know 7.3 is the new thing that you should probably be running, but good enough. In the next video, I actually want to show you, like, so what if we can edit text files up here? What about getting images and other assets up and down? Like, great, Sam, like I can edit files, but I need to actually have pictures too. I'm going to show you in the next couple of videos how you can get around it without having to use like Transmit. And the reason I'm going to do this is because I tried firing up Transmit, and apparently it's been years since I've ever paid for a license. And honestly, I know how to get files up and down. I don't really need it. And I just want to share that information with you in the next video. So see you over there.